Hi everyone at Splendor, my name is Sarah Jeffery and I am the resident recorder or blokfluit player here at Splendor. Today I'm going to explain a couple of my less usual, more unusual recorders for you. I guess a lot of you already know the blokfluit, it's called the recorder in English, but I've got a couple of more unusual models that I'd like to share with you. By the way, I'm doing this in English because I know that we have an international audience here at Splendor. If there's something that you'd like me to explain in Dutch, just put it in the comments below and I'll help you out. So, the recorder. This is a normal one, let's say, which is actually based on a Baroque model from the 18th century. The first one I'm going to compare this with is this beautiful Renaissance tenor. This instrument was actually hand-built by a Dutch recorder maker called Peter van der Poel. He lives in Beide, and he made a consort of instruments for my trio, my ensemble. So a consort is a family of recorders all made from the same piece of wood. We commissioned him to create 7 of these, 3 in this size, the tenor, 1 bass, that's bigger, 2 altos and 1 soprano, that's a smaller. So I'm just going to play a little bit for you. As you can hear, it has quite a different sound to our more recognisable Baroque instrument. It's a different size. This is a tenor in C and this is an alto in F, but also the tuning of this one is different. Let me pop this one down. For a start, it's pitched half a tone higher in Renaissance pitch. So the A is 466 Hertz instead of 440, 442, or whatever you want. The tuning is also a light mean tone, so the notes aren't equally spaced, but they're in a different tuning. It's a little bit lower. Very nice for Renaissance music. What else? This is made of 1 piece of wood. And let's see, the bore, that's the hole down the middle, is much wider, gives a bit of a different, broader sound. It does make the range of the instrument smaller, so the range of this is actually an octave and a sixth, maybe 2 octaves, let's see. Get those 2 octaves. The music that we play with this fits the smaller range perfectly. It's all about sound, about harmony, about polyphony. So that's what this Renaissance tenor would be used for. You're going to discover that as recorder players, we have instruments from every period, medieval, Renaissance, Baroque, right up to modern, in all the different sizes, in all the different pitches. So you don't just have to have 1 instrument. A professional will have 20 to 50 instruments. Let's move on. I'm going to show you this. This is an alto in F, also made by a Dutch recorder maker, Adriana Breukink, who lives in Enschede, and this is her own development. It's called the Eagle recorder. I'm just going to play a bit for you. So you'll notice it looks very different from our standard recorder. I'll just show you again. You will see that it's much wider. The bore on in the middle is wider. This gives a bigger, louder sound. As we saw with the Renaissance recorder, widening the bore makes the range of the instrument, how many different notes it can play, makes it smaller. So Adriana has counteracted that by making the end of the recorder longer and adding some keys. And this means that you can play higher more easily. Let's see if I can do this because it's quite a new instrument. I'm still getting used to the key combinations. You can go pretty high. I'm not going to edit this video so you get to hear all of my squeaks. We have, for example, this extra key down here that gives you one note even lower than normal. But also this key, it's called a piano key, you hold it in, it opens this little hole up here, which means that you can play much softer. I'm not sure if my wonderful editing software is going to cancel out those volume differences for you, but I think you can hear that. The really special thing about the Eagle is that with this development, Adriana completely changed the way that the harmonics and that the sound waves work on the recorder. Now, here's something interesting. On a Baroque recorder, and on most Baroque instruments, the harpsichord for example, you don't actually hear the fundamental tone in the sound wave. Every musical note is built up of layers of harmonics, and on a Baroque recorder you don't hear the fundamental, you only hear the high harmonics. This makes it blend beautifully with a harpsichord and clavecembal, for example, but it makes it less easy to blend with a big piano or orchestral instruments. By redesigning the recorder fundamentally and making the bore so wide, on this recorder you do hear the fundamental tone. And that makes it much easier for this recorder to blend with modern instruments because the way its sound waves are working are much more similar. So that was the starting point for Adriana. There are many other modern recorders on the market, but this, her aim was to create a recorder sound, but that will blend with modern instruments. So I wanted to show you these two different types of recorder, especially, and pick these up again, especially if you're used to seeing this one. Maybe you've played it before, maybe you've seen someone perform it in concert, but there are so many other possibilities dating from before and after. I can imagine you have loads of questions, so if you do, feel free to leave them in the comments. Aside from being one of the musicians at Splendor, where I regularly perform and do projects, I also have a YouTube channel where I talk about recorders every week. That's called Team Recorder, which translates as, I guess, Blokfluit ploeg, where you can find weekly videos all about the recorder. So I hope you found it interesting to hear a little bit about this fantastic diverse instrument and all of its possibilities. Let's put those down. I'm going to say bye now, but thank you for watching and see you tomorrow for another Splendor at home video with one of the other musicians.